services are extraordinary, world-class, right here. And if it's your own name, speak up. This would be an advertising opportunity.
Grocery.
Sorry?
Secret cabinets.
The cabinet, yeah. Secret cabinet.
I think the Esplanade did a fantastic job with us.
Sorry?
The Esplanade did a fantastic job.
Esplanade, world-class, right where we are. Get as many extraordinary people and businesses in the circle of your life as possible. Piece of simple advice. Get as many extraordinary businesses and people in the circle of your life as possible. It makes a huge difference. Now, to create this extraordinary business, we need to be extraordinary leaders and managers. I have speaker and consultant friends who will cheerfully engage you in a full-day debate. Day-long debate about the difference between leadership and management. And I say, you know what? All I know is this old silly argument, leadership and management. Yeah, if you're General Electric, I get it. But for most of us, who has time in this room to sit there and think for a day whether you're wearing your management hat or your leadership hat? And I say to these goofy people who want to spend a day debating this silly question, all I know is I work in the real world. I work with people who own or manage a business and they're just trying to run the sucker. Anyone here identify with that? You're just trying to run the sucker. I mean, like, who has time for silly philosophical debates here? I'm writing a book, I'm halfway finished, called Myths, Lies, and Management. And I'm not dedicating it to my pooch named Prince or my second wife or any of these silly things that people generally dedicate books to. I'm dedicating it to all the people around the world who are just trying to run the sucker. Because that's who the book is for. So anyway, call yourself leader, manager, just trying to run the sucker, or whatever. My Grandma Cooper, bless her heart, never ran a business or gave a speech. But Grandma nailed management or leadership, whatever you want to call it, in one sentence when she used to say to our dysfunctional family, we need to get everybody singing from the same hymn sheet. Who was fortunate enough to have a great grandma with great cookies and great wisdom? When you're a kid, the cookies have more appeal than as you get older. It's the wisdom that has more appeal. And so Grandma was very clever. We need to get everybody singing from the same hymn sheet. Is that not the first job of management or leadership? To get everyone in your business singing from the same hymn sheet? Clarity? But here's what happens in most businesses. See if you identify with any of these. 3 or 4 different challenges that I see every day in businesses and have for 20 years. Number 1, there is no damn hymn sheet. But you should all sing from it. How does that work? Number 2, there is a hymn sheet, but it's seen only by the top 2 or 3 people in the company, and they think it's nobody else's business to see the secret hymn sheet. But you should all sing from it. Or number 3, we hand out a different hymn sheet to everyone in the form of different instructions, different urgencies, priorities, and mandates. And you and I work for the same company, and we look over each other's shoulder at our very different hymn sheets, and we ask the musical question, what the heck's going on here? 4th possibility is that there is a hymn sheet, but it was written by a consultant, and nobody understands it. Who in this room, at any time in your life, has ever worked with a company that suffers from one of those 4 hymn sheet problems? Who is currently working for a company that suffers from one of those 4 hymn sheets? Who is currently running a company? See, got the number of hands going up, just deteriorates tremendously there. So here's another simple way of thinking about it. In every business, there's only 2 kinds of people. There's promise makers and promise keepers. Isn't that simple? Promise makers and promise keepers. Now, who are the promise makers typically in any business? The people in sales, marketing, and advertising. They're the promise makers. And everybody else in the business is a promise keeper. Are the promise makers and the promise keepers singing from the same hymn sheet in your business? Clarity. Our number 1 job is clarity. And how do we create that clarity? There's 5 areas of clarity. Our first job is to be clear in our own mind so that we can make it clear in everyone's mind in our business. These 5 clarities. Number 1, the customer value and experience that we commit to always deliver. Commit to always deliver. Number 2, what do we commit to become? Number 3, how are we going to get there? Number 4, what's the extraordinary bottom line we commit to deliver? And number 5, how do we commit to behave along the way? That's our values, our ethics, our standards. So our first job, in order to get everyone singing from the same hymn sheet, is to have clarity in our own minds so that we can create clarity in the minds of everyone on our team, minds and hearts, about those 5 commitments. And by the way, they are commitments, they are not what every business calls them. Goals, targets, aims, and objectives. Every business in the world talks about goals, targets, aims, and objectives. Stand for that. Stop. They're weak and wishy-washy words, and replace those weak and wishy-washy words with one word: commitments. There's a huge difference between a goal and a commitment. My goal was to stay with my first wife. Where's that coming from? Get ahead of me. My commitment is to stay with my third wife. I owe her my life. Literally. She believed in me when I didn't. I owe her my life. There's a difference between a target and a commitment. A target, by definition, is something we hit sometimes and we miss other times, and it's okay, it's just a target. And a commitment. And people say, "Don't, you're just playing with words here, it's semantics." Playing with words. No, the truth is, when we change our language, we change our culture in our business. In fact, that's how we change our culture. We change our language. No more goals, targets, aims, and objectives. Talk about commitments. And by the way, as business owners and managers, clarity is the first step to having a life. Because when everyone on our team is clear about our commitments, you're there in the business even when you're not there. You don't have to micromanage people. Even when you're not there, because there's clarity and they know what you would do if you were there. And so it's just like being there. And if you don't have clarity, you've got to micromanage your people, which means you'll never have a life. I worked for a couple of years with a business guy in New Zealand. And on my third visit to work with him, I had lunch with his wife, and his wife announced to me in a restaurant at noon that she is planning actually to leave her husband after 45 years. She's given up because he's married to the business. And there's not room in his life for 2 marriages. And she was going to give up. And I had a meeting with him the next day, and I said, after we experienced, he's in agriculture, 10,000 acres, and of fruits and vegetables and stuff, and he's quite an incredible guy, but he's married to the business. And we had an incident in the field when we were looking at a tomato field, and I said, "Murray, what did you learn from this?" He said, "I learned that I need to be in every field every day, 7 days a week." I said, "Well, then you'll want to know what the lunch conversation I had with my wife just yesterday. See, I get to do the tough stuff that nobody wants to do." I said, "Your wife is planning to leave you. She's given up. This isn't an accident." He wouldn't change, so I fired him. Waste my time? No way. So, what do we commit to become? Let's look at that one first. What do we commit to become? What kind of clarity can we create on that? We commit to create an extraordinary future by creating a business that is what? In 3 to 5 years? Don't look more than 3 to 5 years out. It's too far. And you lose your sense of urgency. You make a 10-year plan. You say, "I can bug around and do nothing for 3 years, and then just work my ass off." No! 3 to 5 years, sense of urgency. With a return on investment of what? Now, what is a vision? I'll tell you what a vision isn't. It isn't that sign on the lobby in most businesses today that says something like this: "We love our customers, we honor the diversity of our staff, God's a nice person, the planet's a great place to hang around, we'll work hard and have fun." How many of you have seen those things? Oh, vision statement. Sign the manager. I mean, yeah, it's stupid. It does not inform, focus, challenge, or inspire anyone. And the silly thing is, they may have paid a consultant $30,000 or $40,000 to come up with that thing. But they got a deal because they threw in a free mission statement to go with it. And it's meaningless and stupid too. I mean, if you take over the word vision statement and mission statement and shuffle them around and hand them back to people, they don't know which one is which. I spent 7 years noodling this thing through for clients, trying to figure it out, bring some real common sense to this whole thing about vision, because it's so important. How are we going to get anywhere if we have no idea where we're going? So, here's what I believe a vision statement is. It's on one piece of paper, it's 6 points. And it's a clear and measurable statement of what we commit to become, to be a profitable and responsible market leader in 3 to 5 years. 30 is 30. Gotcha. 6 points, one piece of paper that will inform, focus, challenge, and inspire everybody on the team. Isn't that what a vision should do? Inform, focus, challenge, and inspire you and everybody on the team? Wouldn't that be the job of a vision? I think so. And you're going to have an opportunity to get the whole vision critical guide and the whole package that goes with this. But then people say to me, but Donald, how can we know the future? Look at this. Psychic fair canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. What the heck is that? People say, how can we know the future? And what we forget is that there are actually two kinds of future. Number one is the future that will happen with us or without us, over which we have no control, and that's the future that we spend all our time thinking about and worrying about. Stuff like population and demographics, changing taste and priority, invention, discovery, whatever it is, all the stuff that will happen in the world over which we have no control, that's the future we spend all our time worrying about. So that we have no time left over for that second future, the future that you could choose to proactively create in your business and your life. The future that you could choose to proactively create. You see, Thomas Edison didn't say, well, I don't know if that electricity thing will catch on or not. I'll put the light bulb on the back burner. No, he invented the light bulb and then he created the Edison Electric Company to bring electricity to people's homes so they could buy his light bulbs. By the way, the Edison Electric Company today is known as what? GE. See, you never know, but you might actually get going once you get going. GE was the Edison Electric Company. So, what future do you choose to proactively create? Now, you may say, yeah, but I'm no Edison. Well, maybe you're not. But you could be a Koopy. That's my nickname. Koopy. Well, along with some other nicknames. But when I left Cooper, Canada, through a bizarre set of circumstances, I became a retailer of ladies' fashions. I had no experience with ladies' fashions. Well, buttons, the odd time. But I'd never bought ladies' clothing. I'd never sold ladies' clothing. I'd never even... Okay, well, a couple of times. It was Halloween. One of them was Halloween. But anyway, I sat down. So here's what I did, because I had no experience. I sat down and I thought and felt what it was like to be a woman buying clothing. I got in touch with my feminine side. What's the sign on the front door of every ladies' clothing store? No food or drinks. Awesome. Signed by the management. So I built a beautiful big mahogany drink counter. We serve 7 kinds of herb tea, 2 kinds of coffee, 2 kinds of fruit drink, and one of those jet spray machines that they have in food courts in the mall, and spring water in real mugs, help yourself, no charge, and our competitors went nuts. They said, Donald, you can't do that. Women are slobs. These were women who owned clothing stores, selling clothing to other women, and that was their opinion of their customers. Be very careful what your opinion of your customers is, because that will just filter right on down through your staff and become the customer experience. Write this down. Food is affected by the laws of gravity. They said women are slobs. They'll spill it on the clothes, destroy your inventory, put you out of business. 14 years of free drinks. 14 years, less than $200 worth of clothing spilled on in 14 years. We had it dry cleaned and dropped it off at our local women's shelter. You see, it wasn't an issue, except in the tiny minds and tiny hearts of our competitors. That's what we call our competitors, the tiny minds and tiny hearts. Bless them all. I don't know what business they should be in, but retail ain't. Second sign in every ladies' clothing store. It's on the change rooms. Limit 3 items in the change room, you crook. Another unfinished sign. Always signed by the same stupid people. The management. Here's a little tip. If you're going to be offensive, be anonymous. You know what our sign said? Our sign said, please take as many items in the change room as you wish. Put a security tag on everything. We're nice, we're not stupid. I'm not asking anyone to be stupid, but nice would be really good. Please take as many items in the change room as you wish. Women took 27 items in the change room and usually bought 23 of them. If you can take 3 in, what's the most you can buy? 3. Big idea. And no one in the world had ever done it. Now, your business is different. I'm sure you're not in the ladies' clothing business, probably. But the question is, what could you do that no one has ever done? How could you sit down and think and feel like a customer? retailer of ladies' clothing in the world to count to 4. I put 4 hooks in a change room. I thought it through. I didn't peek, ladies. I just thought it through. Here's what I figured out. You need 1 hook for your clothes, 1 for the clothes you want to try on, 1 for the clothes you've decided to buy, and 1 for the clothes you've decided not to buy that have to go back and be hung up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hooks are $6 each category. No one in the world, and you thought it through. Any woman disagree? You need 4 hooks in a change room. And then I put a mirror in every change room because I thought there were certain decisions that a woman had the right to make in the privacy of her own change room. Any woman agree with that one? I mean, our competitor said, now you're screwing it up for all of us. I said, that's pretty much my plan. There's too many of you anyway. If I put some of you out of business, it's practically a public service. They said, no, you gotta put the mirror up on the sales floor. You gotta force women out of the change room to look at themselves so your staff can run up and say, look at that, fits you perfectly. But we based our business, founded our business on this simple principle. No games, no tricks, no lies. See, our commitment was to create an extraordinary business by doing the right thing extraordinarily well. How simple is that? See, that's the short version of my whole presentation. Create an extraordinary business by doing the right thing extraordinarily well. Now, if you do the right thing in a mediocre, half-assed way, you're still in trouble because you did the right thing, but you're mediocre and half-assed, and mediocrity is no longer an option. So then what else? Oh, we had electric massage chairs, reclining massage chairs around the store for whom? Husbands and boyfriends, right? We had a pirate ship play area to get the kid off the leg. See, here's what I figured out. You gotta get the kid off the leg. A lady cannot try a pair of pants on in a change room with a child laminated to her leg, screaming to go home. You gotta delaminate the kid. And our competitor said, it's her kid and it's her leg, it's her problem. I said, no, I want to sell the pants, it's my problem. I'll delaminate the kid. $54,000 to build a 28-foot pirate ship replica parked in a secret lagoon in the center of the store. Secret lagoon, everybody knew about it. Secret lagoon, and a pirate island with a big tree with a tree fort, which was the pirate lookout. And I walked by that ship one day, and I heard a 5-year-old say to his mother, Mommy, can we live here? And I know your business is different, but the question is always the same. Do your customers want to live with you? Do they want more of you, less of you, or none of you in their life once they give you a try? Do they want to live with you? Our customer washrooms had change tables with 3 sizes of free diapers, diaper wipes, and cream, and no one in the world had ever done it. We just thought it through. We felt it through. You got a 3-year-old that you think is toilet trained, and you're almost right. And you left your diaper bag at home, and now little Petey has poop running down his leg. What are you going to do? Well, we have a change table. You forgot the diapers. Well, you screwed up, didn't you, lady? You know, there's a time when we need criticism. There's a time when we need a simple act of kindness. So we had diapers, diaper wipes, and cream. Drove our competitors nuts. They said, you can't do that. The odd woman will steal a diaper. I said, we got that covered. We don't let odd women in our store. See, that's the joy of gratitude. We just need to lighten up. No one's having more fun than we are. Women drove up to 3 hours to shop at our store. Why? Because of what we sold or because of how we sold it? We sold protection and modesty. That's what clothing is, protection and modesty. And every woman has a 10-year supply of that, and they're covered at home right now. As long as you remain approximately the same size. People drove 3 hours. The average sales for stores of our size in the fashion sector was $240 a square foot in sales. We were at over $600, and they were in a mall paying $80 a foot rent, and I was in warehouse space on the edge of town paying $8 a foot rent. In 13,000 square feet, that's $1 million less rent. With $1 million less rent every year, you can put up a pirate chair. Or 2, or 3, or massage chairs. 6, 8, 10 of them. You can have a few diapers, diaper wipes, and cream. So we just created a different business model. I rethought the future of ladies' fashion. Just out of my heart, my mind, my soul, passion, caring to make a difference and get some hugs. From about 10,000 women. Very cool. That's how I define success. People ask me all the time, they haven't seen me for a while, Coop, how are you doing? And I say, I'm doing pretty well. a little busier than I'd like to be, I'm a little healthier than I thought I'd be, and I'm loved a whole lot more than I ever expected to be. See, that's my definition of success right there. And not even necessarily that alone. So what's our definition of success? And the second template that we're going to make available to you is a defining success template. Our business will be a success when? And you'll get that template. It's self-explanatory. You'll find it very helpful. Bonus tip. Keys to a successful partnership. How many of you folks are involved in a business partnership? How many of you are in a partnership of some sort? Family business? Family business is simply a partnership where blood boils at room temperature. Anybody identify with that? Cooper Canada was a partnership. Alive and Well, our clothing fashion store, was a partnership with my wife. That's a different dynamic. Cooper Canada was a partnership with my father and my brother. Alive and Well with my wife. That's very different, isn't it? Because if you tick off your father and your brother, you can go home to your wife. If you tick off your wife, where are you going to go? I said to Wanda, I always call her Wanda, I called her Susan once, it didn't go over so well. I said one night, Wanda, we either need to get along a lot better or we need a much more comfortable couch. She said the work is open till 9. I do a lot of work with struggling partnerships and family businesses. And I've been involved in 2 of them. So here's what I figured out. 6 things required for any partnership or family business to work. 6 things, 2 sets of 3s. Number 1, shared vision for the future of the business, shared values for our business and our personal life, and a shared commitment to the business. Shared vision, shared values, shared commitment, the first set of 3. Second set of 3 was confidence in each other's competence, respect for each other's character, and rapport with each other's personality. Another set of 3. You need all 6 or it's not going to work. And I can do a lot of work, as I said, with partnerships that are struggling, maybe 3, 4, 5 years. The value of the business is going down the tubes, and they hear me speak and bring me in. And I just spend one day, that's all, one day. Geez, at 9 o'clock we start, and by 9:30 we go over this list of 6. We say, okay, the first set of 3, vision, values, and commitment. How are we doing on that? Well, we got one of those, and good, 1 through 3. How about the second set of 3? How are we doing? We got one of those too. So we got 2 out of 6, and we're wondering why it's not working. So then what we do, that's about 9:30 in the morning. By between 9:30 and 3:30, we work hard to try to figure out how we're going to get the 4 we don't have. And if by 3:30 we realize that we do not have and will not have the 4 that we don't have, we then spend from 3:30 to 5 o'clock writing up the most civilized divorce agreement possible, because that's the reality. And they say we messed around with this for 4 years. And in one day, sort it all out. Anyway, that's just a little bonus tip for those of you who are in partnerships. 3 advantages to having a clear vision. I say we have 5 minutes left. What do you say? You say 10 minutes. Ooh, well, okay. Another time warp here. 5 minutes has disappeared somehow. Or reappeared. 3 advantages to having a clear vision. Number 1, our vision keeps us focused. This business may have lost its focus. Hussey's General Store, guns, wedding gowns, and cold beer. Unless that's some bizarre matrimonial package, the incentive, the dress, and the refreshments, somebody lost their focus. Our vision keeps us focused because there's somewhere we're committed to be. We're open to serendipity, but not to distraction. How many of you are so, your mind just works so quickly that you find you're open to distraction? You know, you're head over here, head over there, not so much forward. There's just a lot of the sideways kind of stuff. Those of us who are particularly bright, it happens a lot. But our vision keeps us focused because we've actually documented some place we're committed to be, but we're still open to serendipity. A little bit more about that in a second. Second thing is our vision keeps us passionate because we're committed to be someplace. And human nature works like this. It's just easier, as a human being, it is easier to be excited, passionate about where we're going than where we're stuck right now. It's easier to be excited about where we're going than where we're stuck right now. Let's say you and I are married. Just work with me, with my track record, it can take about a minute of your time. And I come home at the end of the day, well, I'm home again, but we're going to Hawaii next week. You see how much easier it is to be excited about where you're going? And if you don't have a vision, you're not going anywhere. And you start out passionate, and then you get complacent, and then you get resentful, then you get bitter, and then you die. Sad journey, that is. So our vision keeps us passionate. This is an office building. It's not a picnic basket carelessly discarded on the side of the highway. This is a picnic basket. It's the head office of a basket company, Cincinnati, Ohio, 7-story office building. Do you think they're passionate about baskets? Think it'd be fun to work there if you love baskets? Do you think they better never outgrow this sucker? Because who are they going to sell it to? The new world headquarters of the Easter Bunny. Our vision keeps us passionate because there's some place we're committed to be, and we're always growing and becoming. But the third thing is, the big advantage of having this clear vision for the future is that it allows us to train and to hire for what we're committed to become. We actually train our people to help us become what we're committed to become. We hire people, guides, who can guide us to where we're committed to become. Here's a thought. If you don't have a clear vision for the future of your business as you best understand it is your business as it just was. Think about that. If you don't have a clear vision for the future of your business as you best understand it is your business as it just was. Last year is over, you've looked at the numbers, you've done the autopsy, you've made up your excuses, and your business as you best understand it is as your business just was. And you go out and hire for the immediate past. That's what we did in Cooper, Canada, over and over again. And every time it almost killed us. We kept hiring for the immediate past. And not hiring people or training and developing people who could help us become what we were committed to become because there was no clear vision for the future. Because the business ultimately was my father's neat fort. 3,000 employees, but it existed to be a neat fort for one person, to make one person comfortable. We're going to talk about that for some of you folks at lunch today. I have a presentation I do about Cooper, Canada. It's called From Great to Gone. We were the best in the world at what we did, and we don't exist today. Because, in fact, we existed for fundamentally the wrong reason in the first place. To be one person's need for it. Anyway, more about that. It's break time, I believe. Oh, 2 minutes. Well, let's have the break. What the heck? That's the next point is more than 2 minutes. It will be that. To be the cheapest or not to be the cheapest. Now, during these breaks, if you want to ask me any questions, I'm here. I'm here to serve.
Just a quick question before you get up. Someone, I would love to have everyone just check your cell phones and your BlackBerry, Blueberry, Raspberry, something's ringing. Take 20 minutes. We'll be back at 5:02. And make sure that if you are the person with the phone ringing, just turn it off. We say thank you. As well, if you are parked in a 1, 2, or 3 hour parking, recommendation, I would put some money in the meter or move it, one or the other. Thank you. We'll see you at 20. Any questions?